Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. Let's adjust the webcam just a little bit here. There we go, much better. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. Grab your beverages. It is time to do some code. Okay. So I'm continuing with the live stream experiment. Besides what I said last time about going to Twitch and all the people I know and blah, 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 blah. You know what? That doesn't matter. That crap doesn't matter. What I need to do is I need to code. I need to code some games. I'm having fun on YouTube. Why complicate things? Why complicate something that's already working? So, check my audio levels. They're looking good. They're looking good. So, I got the chat going over on the side here. And let's talk about what we're going to be doing tonight. So, as I didn't prep because I'm irresponsible. The goal for tonight is to continue on where we left off last time, because I have not looked at code again since the last stream, and I really had fun on the stream. I really enjoyed myself a lot, and so I wanted to kind of go back to that, break my fasting on the code. It's a new month. I got a new video out on YouTube with the devlog, and I want to kind of start wrapping up this prototype so we have something working. I did not meet my goal last month of getting something published, so it's not playable. It's not. There's nothing to, without me standing over you to explain what's going on. There's nothing. It's not a game, and it's a challenge when you're getting started. In any video game, if they just kind of drop you in there and it's not self-explanatory. In any case, for those of you that are new to that have not seen the YouTube videos, have not seen this, and this is your first time, welcome. Second thing, here's what we're doing. What happened last month is I built a whole whack of game logic. And, I did hours of coding. I was very proud of my scoring system for this dialogue system in my prototype that I like to call handshake. And here's where things went sideways is I didn't come back to realize that there is a testing framework built into Unity, because I have my scoring system and I have my actual game built in Unity, and I needed to kind of make the mesh together. And instead I made a really, let's call it a silly error. Sloppy code, a little bit of, got my own types mixed up, and now they don't line up. They don't line up like this. That's what they don't do. I need them to do this, but they're doing this. And I'm getting a lot of red squigglies, meaning I got a lot of compiler errors. And then on top of that, the game doesn't work. So it's not all stitched together. So rather than hacking it together, I decided you know what? There's tests here. I wrote some tests in the end, so I'm going to refactor all those tests, and I'm going to rewrite this chunk of code, not redo it from scratch, but I'd rather refactor the whole thing. So make those changes, and they're pretty deep-rooted logic changes. So that's the first thing. And then once I tie these things together, this is going to be done. So I'm going to do this over a series of, we'll see. I'll do it tonight. I'm not going to promise when the next stream will be, because I don't know. This is just a fun science experiment. In any case, let's get this going. Get over to the desktop here. Hopefully y'all can see that okay. How's my zooming going? Need a zooming feature of some kind. Let's do zoom it. Get that going. Like you said, I'm totally prepared. Garbage truck on fire is totally fine. Runaway garbage truck on fire, as the lovely people over at kind of funny say once in a while. Let's close this guy. And we'll zoom in like this. Good. So that's going to work a little bit better for zooming in on stuff. Awesome to the max. Okay. So the next thing we're going to need is our code. Let's get into the code, shall we? So let's open this up. So what I'm using is I'm using Unity 2019.3. It's the latest stable version. I haven't gotten to the latest. Oh, this is all work. Whoops. Let's get out of that. Holy. Whoa. Note to self. Open up Visual Studio Code before you start streaming. Let's move it over to the other window here to make sure that I'm not making any more grievous errors. Let's see here. You'll have to excuse me. Since I've been working from home, I've been using my desktop computer a bit more for work, and I actually don't do a lot of code at work anymore. None at all, actually. I am a solutions architect. A very smart man told me that I try to predict the future for a living, and that's kind of what I do in a weird way. But I did code, and I love video games, so this is how I keep my practice up. And actually, I've been having a lot of fun doing the code and bringing back the code streams. Like I said, it's amateur level stuff, but I'm having fun with it, man. That's all that matters. We're having fun. Okay, so let's look at this. This is all compiling. I don't need to get the latest updates here. We're uploading all these new things. What we're gonna do is we are gonna run our test runner here. Zoom in on this guy. And we're going to rerun them all. So they fail miserably. That's fine. And we're going to go over into here. And we're going to start looking at our tests. So I have a series of tests that I'm writing. And if I remember correctly, we'll just open up Windows Terminal here. I know Visual Studio Code has its own terminal, but I prefer the Windows Terminal. I'm hoping to see there's a way to embed this terminal inside of VS Code at some point. So we are going to see that one day. Let's see, copy path. There we go. Okay, so git status. What do we have here? We have a lot of stuff that changed. I did not commit this to code. What have I done? I literally just kind of walked away from this, it seems. This is the kind of quality stream you get when you come back, when I'm coming back to it, you know? Okay. So git log. Let's see what I did last. I resolved the namespace, blah 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 blah. This is, oh, here we are. Refactor turn. So I didn't actually do anything in here. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll do a git commit. Let's see, git status. What do I have in here? I have a whole bunch of stuff, and this is compiling, I believe. Console. Let's see all our errors. Unable to join multicast group. This is... Let's just clear all these. See if we can run. So we're still running. So, continue. Yeah. Fine. Okay, perfect. So the game still runs. But I'm getting some errors that are compilation errors, but that they're runtime. So that's fine. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to just commit my code. Just to get kind of a mark in the sand. Git status, git add all, git commit. Doing the change or committing my changes from last time. And just to bring up the project itself, just to kind of give you some context here, we're going to play the playable, and I'll zoom in here a bit. So you can see here, this is the thing I'm working on here, number 23. The turn uses this response type to instead of response tone. And it's really like a dumb error. Like I literally used the wrong type in a constructor and then built the entire class, but as the core class of all the logic, the turn class. So as soon as I change these types around, if we want to get into it later, but I've gone over this a couple times, went over this in the last stream, and I'll go over it again eventually, I'm sure. In any case, that's my crutch word. In any case, we are going to add this from last time. We're going to relate this to number 23. Let's go push origin feature refactor turn, because that's what I'm trying to do here. Come on. This time with feeling. Great. I gotta just get better at this command line thing. See, this is the thing. When you don't code as much as you'd like, you get rusty. Things get rusty. All right. So the goal here is we're gonna finish up the test turn here. Some of these tests are not that valid. And I'm really digging this song. I really am. Orbit by Johnny Grimes. Well, Johnny Grimes, I just liked you on Spotify. You like this song. Music is provided by Audio Library Plus. Great on YouTube. And alplus.io, I think. Anyway, it's in the description where the music comes from. But man, they have great music. That's just fantastic for all this kind of stuff. I highly recommend it. Okay, let's bring chat back up just in case. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so I can't run the tests from in here, unfortunately. But what I can do is I can go down here. So stats are updated on response tone. So going through my tests and kind of getting refamiliar. I should have done this beforehand. I've been watching, been participating as much as I can with a friend of mine in the Netherlands. His Twitch stream, Source Koot. Highly if you're a Twitch code kind of person. And he's got a YouTube channel as well. Like, subscribe, all that jazz if you want to see some good stuff on web VR and stuff like that. He does very interesting coding. Know him from back in the day when I was a Microsoft MVP. And a good person. Anyway, his streams have really kind of helped me. Let's zoom this in. His streams got me kind of wanting to do this a little bit more. Perfect. Now I'm liking this. Appearance. Zoom in again. Lovely. That's going to be a bit easier to see. This is what we want. I wish I could just pre-configure this stuff. Anyway. Close this guy. Anyway, he's been doing some really good coding, and this is what kind of got me to want to code on stream again. So I actually got him doing YouTube videos, strangely enough, and he said it inspired him to do something, and now he's inspired me to come back and do some more coding. I'm doing it over on YouTube, but, you know, I'm digging the YouTube, so. Okay. So I guess I added new tests down here. Right, what tests are passing? No response count, initialized turn. Okay, and turn stats are updated on setting response tone. Okay. So these other ones, if I zoom in on this so you all can see what I'm looking at. Initialized direct turn increases response count, initialized evasive turn. So this is some of the scoring logic tests that I wrote around turns. And it's not supposed to, like, this isn't really actually matter to the turn itself. What ends up, I should just walk through it. Let's just bring up my ugly ass OneNote here. This chart I can't believe they don't have... There we go. This little axis thing here. So what you're seeing is on the y-axis, you can see I have playful, which is highlighted at the top here, and I got serious down at the bottom. Here, let's actually do Control 2. Yeah. So I got these kind of things. These here are the types of the feelings that the responses have. So I do a lot of scoring logic on these. Playful, evasive, serious, or direct. These are the types of responses you could give. Now the thing is, what ends up happening is the player, if I actually change the color here, actually starts to will actually respond with a tone, a sarcastic, relaxed, reserved, or bold tone. The numbers on the axes, the values on the axes increase based on what your tone is. So if I do a relaxed response, I get kind of an extra. I get a line on here, and I get a line on evasive. It goes up, evasive goes up by 1. Playful goes up by 1. If I do sarcastic, my next response in dialogue is a sarcastic tone. Then I get another +1 up here, but I get a +1 on direct. These don't negate each other. This is just for simplicity of this diagram, but this is the idea. And I got these types, this type versus tone mixed up. So this whole thing about how the calculations work is how do we calculate score? And so my tests, looking at them now, they're a little bit too... They don't really provide a ton of value to someone who's just reading them going, I don't really understand this. So let's... Oops, wrong one. Not sure how I brought that up, but that was kind of cool. Anyway, that put aside. I'll keep that available just in case we need that. And now we're going to start writing some tests, I guess. So it increases the turn count, so I want that to go up. Okay, see, here we go. New turn when expected. Initialize serious turns. So these are those ones that a playful turn. So yeah, these tests have no value. We're gonna just nuke these. I like deleting code. That's my favorite way to code, is to delete it. That's a fun little fact for you. Fun little fact for you. Okay. Turn stats are updated on the setting. Turn stats are updated. Yeah, okay. So if you look at my test given, I have a turn, and that's initialized. And I set the response tone to bold. As an example. Direct stat. Yeah, so I have the... this is what the calculation do. I set the tone of the turn. I don't want to exhaust the idea of what I'm trying to... breaking down all of my scoring logic. I gotta really document this. But when I look at this, this is how my scoring logic is meant to work. You set a tone, so I turn in a conversation would be a response. The response has a tone, so if I have a bold tone, then this is my scoring logic. This should go up in the turn. So all I'm doing is making sure that, so I can actually repeat this to make sure that the logic is happening correctly. Does that actually happen in the turn object is the question. This is the class I've been editing a bunch. So we updated a bunch of stuff here. And if it's equal to null, so we have a lot of work in progress code here. Okay. So I do have all my scoring logic here. So we should add some. So let's get warmed up with some basic stuff. So this would be actually direct and serious are increased on setting are increased with bold tone. Okay, this is going to be a bit of a copy pasta test here, but that's fine. That's where it's a good place to start. Well, you know, first let's save it. Let's just make sure I didn't completely botch it. So now we should see this update here. Should turn gray on us. There you go. So yeah, see, look, we've reduced all of our tests here, which is nice. So we run all. Perfect. So now we've got our test. Our test turn is looking good. Okay, we'll zoom out again. Go back here. So what I want to do is I want to kind of replicate all of the scoring logic in here. I could even just make these a set of tests. Honestly, I really could. No, it's not score. It's just this. It's stats test. But anyway. So what other tones do I have? I have relaxed tone. And what? Relaxed is playful and evasive. Playful and evasive. Great. We're gonna go with playful. We don't need a capital P on there. Okay. So we're to see. Like I said, this might not seem like a lot of value to anybody right now, mainly because you don't know the inside of my code, and that's okay. The cool thing about this code that I think is that I'm actually writing test code inside of a game, which is kind of something that I don't see a lot of people talking about. Maybe it's just not that interesting. I don't know, but I think it's quite interesting. So let's just straight up cut and paste this guy, and we're gonna call this one evasive. Okay. On my evasive stat, and then I do. Let's see if my copy pasta worked. Okay, run all. Boom. Fantastic. So the scoring. So basically what's happening is the turn is responding. That's what I'm learning out of my test code here. Okay, so let's do. We got 2 more tones to test. I mean, hypothetically, that could go into here. Like it could. It really should, actually. Now, yeah, this is where my stuff is kind of wonky. Like this test tone happens inside the turn stat, but I'm testing the stats. And the turn, so the turn object is meant to be an object that is just captured for the sake of. How do I want to word this? It's basically a statistics object. That's all it is. So the player takes some gameplay. You know, I respond. That is a turn. That turn captures the current state, like how I can replicate the state for the entire thing. It's a little stats object. So I'm gonna keep all this stuff in tone. We're gonna move up. All right, sorry, in test, in the turn test. Blah 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 blah. We're gonna go with sarcastic next. And a sarcastic tone is playful and direct. There we go. And let's change that guy. And it's relaxed, right? Did I say this is sarcastic? Save it, and then we'll just do it again. This time with feeling, though. Bold reserved was the last one. Reserved. Serious and evasive. Serious and evasive. I should have changed this. Playful and direct. So you want to name your test correctly. Because if you don't, messes everything up. serious. Serious. There we go. Again, keeping with my copy and pasting logic, we save that. And then we do our evasive down here. This is evasive. This is serious. This is serious. Okay. So we've got this saved. This is our scoring logic. Part of me wants to put this in a region, but again, I will clean up the test afterwards. I always get caught up in cleaning up my code before it's necessary. Like it's always necessary. You want to write the best code you can, but the thing is, I find it's more important to get something out the door. And right now, I just don't have to redo this whole refactor. Oh, test failed. What happened? Serious and evasive stats are increased with a reserved tone. So my copy pasta did not work. Aha. Try it again. And rerun selected. Perfect. Yeah, you see, test tone is over here, so I can actually nuke that whole thing, which is nice. Again, what's the best way to code? Delete code. That's right, my friends. Let's delete it. Are you sure you want to delete test tone? Yup. Okay. This should compile. That test tone should go away. That's perfect. Okay, so now let's commit this. This is actually a big shift because the turn object is now working as I think it should. So let's just write that in there. Where is my Windows terminal? Here it is. Git add let's just say updated test turn. Return tests. Our return tests are now working. Tests working. Good. And the next thing we have is our scoring logic. Now the scoring logic it's broken clearly. So let's first see what's wrong with my tests here. So they're failing. Let's go down here. Adds liked tones. Oh, this is the whole, this is the actual calculation of the this is the actual calculation of my score. So I want to draw this out for myself. Okay, first let's go back here. Okay, Control 2, and then we do this. B, is it white? Isn't it black? I thought I could do a black screen. Anyway, whatever. Guess I can't. So what we have here is we got... What am I drawing here? I'm trying to draw out how this is supposed to work. For gameplay. So I have N... PC, let's clear this. E. Clear, white. What am I missing here? I'm missing something. Sorry, I don't really like... This is some of the quality stuff you're going to get out of this. Quality to get out of this. Quality 4. Good. What are my live zoom draw? Okay, yeah. K for black. B for blue. Oh, okay. K for black. That's weird. Alright, whatever. Shift control. Okay, good. Okay, I've just had to get a refresher on this guy. Okay. So oh no, we want K. Sorry. Just blinding people. So let's do control. That gives me my rectangle. Perfect. And in here we have conversation. Ugh, I am not doing great at this diagramming aspect. But I'm having fun. That's the important part, right? So let's do text. You have a conversation, okay? This is the guts of my gameplay. Let's do this guy. And over here, you're going to have, let's do yellow. You get a player. Now, the player is following the conversation, and that conversation is happening with an NPC, which is, let's just make that one red, and we're going to make the NPC just another person like this, because it's supposed to be. There we go. Makes it look kind of evil, but the NPC is fueling the conversation, okay? Now, this NPC over here, if I do pink this time, do I have pink? Yep. The NPC has different things, like it has preference in terms of tone, or tone preference, let's call it that, for tone. So that's what's kind of fueling this NPC. So as the player is inputting into this conversation a tone, right? So if I do this, we'll do tone goes in here. The conversation then kind of gets, the NPC will either like you or dislike you based on your tone. And that results in, let's go with orange. This is a score. And this is the part that I think is interesting. Can I do that? No. A tab, will that give me a circle? There we go. So the tone of your conversation plus the preference is going to equal to the score. This is kind of how it all works together, to be fair. And that is really how I'm trying to work this logic out. So your score will provide things like whether you succeeded or failed in getting something, or whether that NPC continues to be a long-term contact, and all this kind of stuff. Like I said, I really got to get people to play this game, because I talk about it, and you know, it's a prototype about scoring conversations. The idea is about making deals with people, but again, I got to kind of wrap this all together. My pitch is very blasé, but the system is there, and I know where I want to go with it, but I got to spend that time refining it. That's what April's supposed to be for, but I need to get this done. Let's save this. We're gonna call this one, what was it, April 2. We're gonna call it handshake scoring. There we go. Cool. So let's go to our scoring logic and then actually see how this works. Because if the what is going on? Why is my mouse not? Whoa! Hello, zooming in. There, I was still in zoom in. That was kind of fun. That was fun, wasn't it? So going back to this little diagram. So in that context, right? So the player or the NPC has a preference. If they prefer people that are in a more relaxed tone, you get a multiplier for your relaxed responses. If they are neutral about sarcastic and reserved, let's say, you don't get a multiplier, but you get points. But if they dislike bold responses, then you can lose points. And that'll kind of give you the tone of whether or not they're liking you or not overall. And yeah, so that's kind of the idea here, is that you get a multiplier for matching with the likes. And I didn't want to tie myself into, like, maybe I have a guy or an NPC that only likes relax and hates everything else. You got to be relaxed to deal with that guy. I wanted to kind of give myself some flexibility for creating and writing NPCs. So yeah, so buttons. Okay, so keep on saying so. Minimize that. And now we keep going. So you look at this code, response tone. So why are you failing, actually? You should actually technically still kind of be working, right? Ah, you know what? It's because I changed the way you set the tone in the direct is used in the bold calculation. So yeah, see, this is where it goes sideways. If I look at this responder preference, yeah, so how did my logic work here? Dictionary response tone. I'm just gonna read this and go over it. So weird. Looking at your own code, it's just like, I have no memory of this place. It's like a programmer meme I've seen 1,000 times, but it is so accurate. So very, very accurate. Okay. So I have my response, my test preference, my responder preference, and the tone. So yeah, so this is how I do it. So every NPC will have a dictionary or a list of all the tones, or a list of tones that they like or dislike or neutral. So we have to make sure they're all in there. Probably not a dictionary is probably not the best one, but whatever. Easy way to look it up. And yeah, so we have this guy on response is neutral about bold responses, and then we do our new turn. So direct is used. I don't even know why this is here. So if I do turn T dot set response tone to response tone dot bold, hypothetically they should pass, because my score would increase. What is my returns it returns a double. Okay, let's just try it. I haven't looked at my code yet, but why not? Rerun failed. It still fails miserably. Expected was 2D. Oh wait, let's go to neutral. We're doing the neutral one first. 0. Okay, so nothing was being added to the tones here. Adds neutral tones value to score. Huh, indeed. Ugh. How can I not read my own code again? This is the lack of documentation. Like this, like when I take a step away from the game, it takes me a good little while to get back into it and like remember what all that logic was. Like that's why I need something to play so I can know if it feels right. But now this is just all that wiry logic, and it's not nearly as fun because I want to play it, but I'm not feeling this song. Let's just go to the definition of the calculate score. I see I have this contains key thing. I feel like this is so much grosser than it needs to be. Responder preference. These are my preferences. That's fine. Okay, so I got all these things right. My responder object is it's a responder of dictionary, because I may have other, who knows where I go from that. I wanted to kind of give myself a bit of flexibility, I guess. Here's my multiplier. It's a property that I can change over time. So this is really just a little whole object here. That's fine. Oh wait, did I not save it before I ran it again? I didn't save it. Rerun failed. Okay, still fails. Okay. Interesting. So this makes way more sense. My bold. Huh. Ha 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 ha. Okay. So I was just doing calculations. You can see down here in my console logic here, because I have a whole set of debug statements in there. It's just outputting what the value is. And I was expecting 1. Why was I expecting the score to be 1? I don't know why I was expecting that. My notes here. Give me a sec here to look at my notes. This is why I need this digitally. So the score... Where is it? Oh, it's just, like, literally, it's just like a piece of loose leaf paper that I did a bunch of math on, and trying to figure out how to math all this stuff. That was the February devlog. Was a lot of my time was spent doing this. Here we go. That's equal to R. Now, why did I assume that bold would be anything different? That's the thing. Like, why is it 1.41? Sounds like I think my test data is wrong. On bold statements. Okay. New turn. Go to definition of a new turn. Initialize stats. Okay, so we initialize that, then we're not using this guy at all right now. Yeah, adding bold to score, and my score at this point is 1.4. Let's actually break down my scoring logic, because I am not following this. We're going to debug a little bit. Let's go to set response. Let's do actual. We'll do a breakpoint there. Debug, attach it to the editor. Okay, lovely. Run selected. Okay, we hit our breakpoint. We're going to jump into it. Do I have... Yeah, F11. Am I on my... Good. Let's get my score. My responder. Let's just check my responder. The only preference he had... The tone preference... test data has is bold. That's neutral, so I shouldn't use a multiplier. Okay. So do F11. Jump out of this. Tone values. So I get the tones. What are my tones here? You see, it calculates the tone right away. Like, why? Yeah, that's definitely something to do with this method here. Calculate tone? What is this calculate tone method? Go to definition. Counts the conversation tone for the player on this turn. So this is the tone score? Like what? So you go through all of them, but somehow these are still 1. How are these 1? Tones.add. This is some weird logic. I'm not following what I did here, and it's mostly because I'm a bit... Tone values, I have 4. Okay, push play on this again. Stop. Start it again. It's a public method, so I should have a... This is something I'm going to be writing a test for. I think my scoring logic might be a bit hooped up. Okay. So what I want to have happen here is if there is a preference to bold, trying to work this out in my head about what I'm trying to sort out here. Oh, wrong button again. I'm pushing all the wrong buttons here. Perfect. Okay, I think I'm gonna... Yeah, see, look at all this weirdness. I got bold, relaxed, reserved, sarcastic. But then I'm adding tone score. So I have a value for each one, which makes sense. Because my tone value... But how is this becoming 1 point? This is the thing I'm not understanding. Like, how does this turn into 1.4? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Calculate tone. Yeah, like this is the thing that's got to be broken. I need to write some logic around what this thing is supposed to do. See, I have a private method that calculates the actual score. And then so I have tone score. This is all crap. This code is crap. Whoever wrote it should just slap themselves a little bit. Okay. Yeah, this is just junk code, is what the problem is. It's got all these responses to it. We're gonna, you know what? I think we're gonna do a little bit of some code purging here. Okay. First, get rid of this guy. Just get rid of the code we don't need. Okay. So my test scoring doesn't provide the value that I want it to. If that makes any sense. Because it's supposed to be testing score, and I don't know what it's really testing here. It's just kind of testing a whole whack of methods. It's not clean enough. So what I need to do, I would love to have a to-do. This is going to go in my to-do eventually. I'm just going to write this down for myself right now on a piece of paper. I need to test tone calc. I need to test scoring calc. And it's really the conversation tone that I need to start with. So we are actually going to delete this file altogether and delete that. Okay. Good. And now, well, you know what's going to happen now. I'll tell you what's going to happen now. It's going to be lovely. We're going to save this. Go back to Unity. See, this is a great thing about deleting code. You do run all, and then all your passing test work. So now we're going to actually do some real TDD, I think. Because what I need to do here is figure out how I want this code to be used. Because I don't really know how I want this all to be used. This is a lot of weird crap code. So my turn object, for starters, has set response tone. That's fine. Initialize stats. That's fine. Update stats not being used. Get rid of that. Calculate tone value. Calculates individual value of a specific tone. So each, you get a score for each tone, I guess. That's why it's private. What is this? I don't. 4 references. Who? Let's find all these references. Like I have really no idea how. Like what logic I had on this guy. Okay, where do you get used? Calculate tone. Find all references. Find all references. Tone value. So this is the idea. So I have a score for each one, I guess? Yeah, I have a score for each one. Huh. Okay, I think I'm following along here. Each value... So let's go back to... Let's draw this for myself, mainly, I guess. So what we have is, again, let's do text. We do conversation. Okay? And then... Put that in a rectangle. And then we do blue, and we're going to do some... Or actually, let's do pink. Oh, come on. Come on. Pink. So, conversation. Great. So we got that. Let's put a rectangle around you. Let's go to yellow, because yellow is pretty. And up here we have relaxed. Over here we have, let's say, sarcastic. Doesn't really matter. I'm not putting them in the same order as before. Sarcastic. Over here I have bold. And over here I have reserved. Oh, I didn't realize my mouse wheel changed the font size. Very interesting. Reserved. Okay. Bring this a little bit closer. That. Put some circles around this. Each one of these has its own individual value. So we're going to put value. We're going to put. So we have a value for this. We're going to call it RE. This one we're going to call orange. Let's go text. We're going to call this one RX. I'm going to call this one SA. And this one we're going to call BO. Okay? These are actual values. These are the values they actually have. You combine all of these based on the preferences of the NPC. So you take this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and then we do T and we do prefs. Put another Oop, not that one. Prefs, and out comes the what other colors do we got here? Red, I guess. That is the actual score of the conversation, but these are still individual values. So the conversation tone, so you want like its own value. Let's provide a tone value. So this is now it's making a bit more sense. Scoring logic, good. Let's save that guy. Okay. And the reason you want to be able to calculate these individually, let's see, calculate tone score. See, like, this is that logic. So if they like it, they have that multiplier goes up, and that gives you this value. So we're gonna call, instead of tone score, we're gonna call this one tone value. And then I have this calculate tone that responds with a read-only dictionary. This is a weird thing. Let's actually get rid of this altogether. I don't really care about this. We're going to get rid of that. And we are going to get public. Because I can calculate this on demand. If I know the preferences and I know the tone value of the NPC that I'm having a conversation with, that's fine. And a turn conversation has this, so that's fine. So this broke my turn now. If I go back to files, tone should be probably broken. Where are my red squigglies here? Yeah, so calculate tone score is gone. That's what I just did. See, this is the weird thing that I did. If it contains key, this is why the scoring logic is so weird and backwards, because I'm doing like all these nested calls. It's way too complicated. So let's nuke all of this. Yeah, see, then I get the values. This is making a bit more sense now. But what we can do instead, having all these helper methods, what we can do is we can actually have individual, we do bold value, var, relaxed value, var, what was the other ones? Reserved value, and var. Let's just do bold, reserved, relaxed, and sarcastic. So what do I need to do this? What I need is to do, it was calculate tone value, which required, pardon my nose scratch, it requires a tone value requires a response tone. Okay, so yeah, like let's do this thing. And this is where that logic comes in about the multipliers and all that stuff. I just get these three or these four values, and that is a-okay. So we're gonna do this dot calculate tone value response tone dot bold. Perfect. That should respond well. Good. 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 Okay, now we're making progress. Relaxed. Actually, I should go here. This dot calculate tone value response tone. Reserve, great, and we have this guy, this dot calculate tone value response tone is equal to sarcastic. So great, so now we have these values, and then over here we're going to do will be calculate, implement scoring logic here, and then for now this is always going to return 0, but that's just a stub. That's okay. So make sure I am not. Am I missing something here? Oh, I am missing something. No, patrol mode. Sorry, I'm checking in on my kids. I'm on dad duty because I am a parent, and that's always a job. A job I quite enjoy, to be fair. Okay, so we've got score. We're going to come back to you later. For now, let's go back to what we were talking about, which is this guy. I want to write some tests for this. So what? Like, why does public tone? Am I using a different? Super weird. Like, why is the tone value here? Double turn. Do I have 2 of these methods? I totally do. Calculate. This is my naming convention. Like, this is the same freaking problem I had last time. So what the hell is this thing for? This is that logic I was talking about. Calculate score. Something. I don't know. This is a to-do. Blah. So we're gonna have to come back to this. To do use this method to calculate score. So like what I'm seeing here is like a bunch of crappy code written. Like I'm so sloppy at this. So what happens here is I'm actually doing response tone, which is great. It figures out the responses, and then from here it takes our stats on the turn and it does the actual formula to give me a value for that specific tone based on the stats that that matter. This should actually be an error. We're gonna change that to error while we're at it. This is a private method. Yes, this is the value. So it calculates the individual value of a specific tone based on the current stats, which makes sense. As I've responded, I've increased those stats, the types of stats, and now I'm able to calculate the kind of tone they have. Yeah, okay. So calculate tone value, I get this. Perfect. So how do I want to test this guy? This is my calculation logic. This is what I'm actually trying to test. Look how crap, like, see, this is why you write tests, and it's kind of, ideally, you have self-documenting code in that sense. So let's write some tests for this thing. We're going to go back to Unity. And we are going to go to our project. We are going to go to tests, edit mode test, because I wasn't very original. Testing a C# test script, and we are going to call this one scoring tests. This is going to test 2 things. The scoring tests should capture. What time is it? Okay, we're good on time. The tests should capture the calculation of the tone values. It should also calculate the translation of responses into the different stats, and it should also test the actual score that ends up being outputted, like that big number that kind of comes out, giving you a positive or negative kind of response. And okay. Okay, I think this is not what the game I think my game development style is that come back into code all the time, and I really avoid the gameplay piece, but I really want to have something a little bit unique to my game. Like, I feel it's like that's the hook I need, or something special about my game. Okay, I need something a bit different. Serious and invasive stats are increased with a reserved tone. Scoring tests. Here's our new thing. So we are going to blow this guy away. Do I use the namespace tests? Do I actually use it? Nope. Okay, scoring tests are here. Save. Write a new test. And then public void. So like I said, I want the tone calculation, the tone value to change. So, how do I want to word this? New, we'll change it after new test. So given turn t is equal to a new turn, and t.set response tone was, let's say this person, this is a kind of tone was this. This would be response tone dot, they like bold because bold's always at the top, and we have a responder preference prefs or test prefs. See, I already forgot how I'm supposed to do this. Responder preference, responder. So let's go back to my test here. So we want a test responder is what we want. Responder, test, responder is equal to new responder. Yeah, so it's a dictionary that I need here. Dictionary. I should really have custom types for a lot of this stuff. But that's again cleaning up my mess. I keep on just blinding y'all with that Unity stuff. We want a dictionary with these two things. That is what we want. Wrong keyboard shortcut. Test prefs is equal to a new dictionary. And so we don't even need this right now. We'll get there eventually. And let's do test prefs dot add. We're going to say the response tone is response tone for bold. They prefer it's neutral. So again, not anything crazy. So given we have a bold turn and a set of test preferences, let's do. What if we did? See, this is where I'm getting lost in my own freaky logic. I want to get this calculation logic working, and then I will work through the API that I have to write to consume this. And that'll be probably a different time, but I want this to work. So how do I test this specific thing? Well, I guess I test that method, right? That's what I would do. Test calculate tone value. Yeah, let's start with that. So when calculate, come on me. Go back to turn, is this private? Yeah, this is private. We're gonna make you public. Not it's public. So this is my sample value. So this is what I want to be able to test. So calculate tone value. Okay. So when is equal to, let's go with 0 for now. It's not, but var actual t dot calculate response tone on a bold one. My expectation would be for this to be, we're going to re-implement the logic, which is, so it's a bold response. I have what I'm looking at down here, just so you know, is actually my little equation that I wrote for this stuff. So what I would expect is my serious stat to be 1 and my evasive stat, serious and direct stats to be 1. So I do math. Dot. That's float math. That's from Unity. Using system dot. Is there not? What do I even use in this? What is? What's in the systems? I forgot. So they don't default to using system. So now I do math dot sign. So this is my calculation, right? So this is the thing I did. So 1 squared plus 1 squared. So we just do math dot square root of 2. That's what it should be. Because that's that value. That's kind of how it works. Alright, we use the Pythagorean value. Yeah, because I need context to this test, otherwise you're not going to know why it should be that. I necessarily want to re-implement the logic here. I guess I should. I might as well. T dot current stats. Response type. This is, what is this? Direct? Yeah, direct. Plus T. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make this easier on ourselves. We're gonna call this X. We're just calling this direct is equal to T dot current stats dot response type dot direct. So we got a now we got a value here, and then I can actually clean, and then we're gonna do the same thing. Var dot, it should be serious is t dot current stats response type serious. Good. And now we go over here, and it should be math dot power x to the power of y, so it'd be direct to the power of 2. It's squared. Math plus math dot pow serious 2, and that should actually give me the value of the expected. So when this, then we assert that assert dot r equal what is this expected actual. Okay, this new test is going to be called calculate tone value, or how about the bold on bold. You know, like, this is the tone value is my formula. Like, I don't really know what else. Like, the formula is working is kind of the thing. Yeah, let's just do that. Tone value formula works on bold. So that should hypothetically work. Zoom in. Run selected. Perfect. Okay, so if I go back out here, so that worked. I re-implemented my logic. And then we get our actual value here. We'll put it up here actually. I mean, I just made this simpler with these different values just to make it easier. But let's just, for fun, debug this guy. Run this. So there's our value, our actual, which makes way more sense now because it is equal to the same thing, and that is perfectly fine. Okay. Tone value works, formula works on bold. And we're going to do the exact same thing over and over again. So let's keep doing the exact same thing over and over again. I mean, I could do this all in one big test, I guess. But I like having multiple tests. It just, I don't know. I mean, they're kind of hollow, some of them. Like, you could just, I just don't like having... I guess what's the... I don't like having... I mean, you got tone... I mean, yeah, I could just blah, 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 blah. I just like... It's just such a big chunk of logic in the test logic. So when you're reading these tests, you know you're testing them individually. I mean, I could run multiple asserts in there and do it that way, but it just gets complicated really quickly. And that's the thing. Like, it's all... Everything I'm doing is yeah, I'm just going to do it this way for now. But we're going to make this one... A is equal to B plus C. So we're going to do B. Let's just do X and Y. X, Y. So given that test, there we go. This one is relaxed is what? This one is supposed to be relaxed. Where is relaxed? So it's playful, and it is, what is this one? Evasive. Good. Relaxed. Test prefs. I don't need this at all. Do I? Nope. Nope, not at all. Because I'm just calculating that tone value. And here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cheat. We are gonna do some private double calculate expected tone value from turn T. And now I'm going to do this. This is how I'm going to do this guy. Actually, let's not use that one. Var, we're going to make this one double expected, and then we're going to return expected. So yeah, current t.current stats. Yeah, so what I can do here is to do response type x, xres, and response type yrez. And then instead of make this a parameter here, xres, yrez. Perfect. Returns a double. Let me do var expected is equal to this dot calculate expected tone value. It is turn T, and we are dealing with, for bold, we are dealing with direct response type dot direct and response type dot playful? No. Bold is serious. Okay, this should still work. Zoom in. Fix compilation issues. What compilation issues? I must have. Yeah, so I broke that one on that one too. Okay, and this is relaxed. Relaxed is expecting, playful, and evasive. Now let's see if we can run the test. He's still getting compilation issues. Clear that. Run selected. Boom. Okay, so let's do this for the last two, just to make sure we've got them covered. So this is what I've learned so far tonight. This is, we're getting closer to the end of what I would call my streaming time. It's important to actually spend a lot of time going over your code before the stream. This is something I didn't actually take into account. I didn't realize that, and to be fair, that's usually what I'm doing when I'm getting back into code mode. But now that given if I spend more time with the code, through like during the week, because it's been over a week since I've really looked at this, then let's go serious. Let's just make sure response tone dot reserved serious, and over here we've got evasive. Right. That should work there. Did I not save it? Bold, reserved. Did I just edit the exact same thing? I did. I just totally nuked a whole thing. Well, that was ridiculous. Here, I'll share my thoughts in a second, because we might actually be able to do one more here. And then I'll do another stream hopefully soon. But I'm going to work on it tomorrow night, even if I don't stream. Because the point of this is just to kind of play around with that live streaming. And I will take it a little bit differently next time. Reserved or relaxed is playful and evasive. And while we're here, the last one is a sarcastic tone. Sarcastic tone. And sarcastic is supposed to be playful but direct. Okay. Run our test. They're excessive. Run selected. Boom. Great. Now, those tests might actually be quite redundant, considering that I'm running the exact same formula on all of them. The thing is, I'm nervous about this moving forward. That's why I'm writing such maybe a level of redundancy. And I'm also not as I'm very rusty when it comes to TDD, let alone writing original game logic code that can be tested with TDD. So, or test-driven development. Okay, so we got all this stuff going now. Let's commit our code. Let's see, added, updated, tone calculation, tone value calculation tests. This is part of number 23. Good. Okay. So what we have is we have our, these shouldn't be called scoring tests, really. We'll call these tone value calculation tests. Pardon me. Okay, so we have our tone value calculation test. If I go back over here, because I renamed something in Unity without telling it that I was doing that. Okay, let's run all clear results. Clear it. Save. This should change now. Yep, perfect. Run all. Lovely. Okay, the next thing I wanted to do, let's actually add that commit. Git, commit, amend the last one. Git, hold on, I forgot to do the thing. Git add all. I'm going to do git, commit, amend. Yeah. WQ, git status. Good. So we've amended our last commit to include all the renaming there. Okay. What do we need to do next? The next thing we need to do is we really need... Oh, I'm not even going to bother saving. There's just white space there. The next thing I need to do is do score calculations, which makes sense. So let's close this guy. Don't save it. That's fine. Let's undo those changes. Discard the changes. Yep, that's a-okay. Okay, so now we have our calculate tone value, which is good. So we can get the tone value out of any turn, which is great. Now this is our calculate score. So we get our values, and then honestly, like I don't know why even, this is like a little helper method. I'm just gonna literally steal this. And put the scoring logic in here just because I don't want to have these extra methods everywhere. Let's do... So yeah, responder preference and the value. So this is what I do here. So I had a little... See, this is the thing. I kind of added all this score stuff together. Like, this is the weird thing. Like, I think I pulled out the wrong logic. Because there's some weird logic in here. Because, like, if the responder likes... Why am I passing it the responder? I know why. I remember why. I don't want to limit myself to just one responder to conversation. That's a whole other thing. So there is a bit of logic here that I have to worry about. So the scoring logic is for everything that I like, I have to calculate the score a certain way. For everything that is neutral, add points a certain way, and then every time they dislike something, add to the score a different way. So we have our tone values here. And now the score that comes from the value is like if, so if the responder, so do responder dot tone preferences. So if, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to do contains key. What is this guy? It's for every tone, so there has to be a certain tone. What was my logic for this guy? Responder preference. So I did logic based on if it's there, do this. So if you did this, just var bold pref, and we do response tone bold, then if they're bold, Yeah, so tone preference equal, that's their bold preference. And then from here, I want to calculate the actual, this one is private. So this is actually the delta to the score. Calculate score delta. And we're going to call this one, we're going to rename this variable for, we're going to go to rename symbol. We're going to call this score delta. And then based on each one of these preferences, that's how you can do this. So I do score plus equals this dot calculate score delta, and the responder preference is bold pref, and we're going to rename this rename symbol bold value. Just I'm going to be overly redundant with this. Let's see, where's value? Value. Perfect. So you can see what I did here with this bold pref here. So if I take that guy and throw it into this, I can do this for each one of that. And this is how valuable naming your methods and having documented code actually gets. Because this is kind of like, I wouldn't call it a waste of time. It certainly is a lot more complicated than it needs to be. Let's do relaxed value. Do it 2 more times with feeling. This dot calculate score data. Responder, what? Ugh. Response tone dot reserved value, and score dot plus equals this dot calculate score delta one more time. This time with feeling. Oh, I keep on doing that wrong. Getting tired now. Response tone dot sarcastic value done. Okay, so now we need to test this. I should have written the test beforehand to set expectations accordingly. But what should happen here is that I'm going to test each one of these individually. Let's do that again. Tone value calculation. We're going to go testing. We're going to C# script. We're going to call this scoring calculation tests. Okay. Okay, now I open that up, and it should be here. Yes, it is. Clean this up a bit. Like so. Okay. Okay, we don't want a simple test. We need something more substantial than this. This is the neutral kind of stuff here, because this is testing this blah blah blah, this blah blah blah, this calculate tone delta. Although it's a private method, this is what I'm really testing. I just kind of covered this up here. Why is this weird? This is kind of what I'm testing directly. but the scoring value is actually important. And I know I'm not doing this. This is not pure by any stretch. This is not pure TDD by any stretch of the imagination. It's probably half-baked at best. But it is going to give me the value that I need. Because if I do a test and I do public void, what we're going to do is I can add more scoring calculation tests as I come up here. Oh, I spelled this wrong. Calculation tests. Rename. There we go. Public void. Let's just say calculate score uses multiplier on liked tones. Okay, so I have you can't find my test attribute. Let's recompile you. You need to be recompiled. Okay, good. And now we're scoring calculation tests. Good. You're working fine. Okay, perfect. So calculate score uses multiplier on like tones. So given again, turn t is equal to a new turn and t dot set response tone to, we'll just keep using bold because bold is always first. Given that, and responder, did I type that wrong? No, responder, test responder, new responder. We don't have our dictionary yet. We do dictionary test prefs is equal to a new dictionary response tone and responder preference. Let's do test prefs dot add. We're gonna do response tone dot bold is response preference is light. Dictionary, what is this? 2 types of arguments. Oh, whoops, I forgot to put the angly brackets in the parameters here for the dictionary. Boop, there you go. And our test responder is going to use this thing, test prefs. So we've created our test data. When var actual is equal to t dot calculate score. You know what? I think we're going to make this one public because I'm thinking about it. This is what I'm actually testing. Let's do this correctly. Score delta uses multiplier on like tones. That's the test. Like, that's really what it is. So calculate the score delta with the responder pref. Okay, so that means actually, hold on. All of this goes away then. So given responder test pref is equal to dot like. And let's just do double test value is equal to 1. Uses the multiplier, right? So, and the multiplier is a static variable that I will be setting instead of a turn object, but that's going to be worked out later. So calculate score delta. Oh, I do need a test. Okay, test value is equal to that. And can this be static? Now that I think about it. Totally can, can't it? This code is really ugly. I don't like my code at all. But let's just get through it. I gotta get the. I don't want to be hung up on this for another month. Let's just jumping all over the place again. Get rid of the static. Let's just not worry about this crap. Okay, so we go back to this, and let's just do turn t is equal to new turn. Just to use it for this. Calculate score delta is equal to responder pref is test pref and test value. And that's it. So var expected. Turn as the multiplier. And I would expect this to be turn dot. Turn not have a static multiplier? Oh, it's the responder that has the multiplier, isn't it? Responder dot the like multiplier. So I have it as a static value right now. Yeah, I don't like that at all. Who cares? Gotta get it through. Responder dot like multiplier times test value. Then assert r equal expected to actual. Okay, try this again. Zoom in. Unselected. Oop, good. Okay, so go back. Oops. Okay, so that's that one. Let's just look at what this logic was again. That's kind of my notes. Was this logic again? Okay, what is all of this? Let's see here. Yeah, so I return a negative delta. Uses multiplier. Neutral should just use the same value that's returned. Yeah, okay, so that's my logic on that one. So we want to do tests, public, void. My goodness. Calculate score delta uses returns value on neutral, returns unchanged. I like that better. Unchanged value on neutral tones. No, don't run the debug. We're gonna just clean this guy up a little bit. Get rid of that white space. I know it's the method that I'm actually testing here. We're gonna straight up steal this guy, but change my expected. Okay, and the last test we're gonna run is it's supposed to returns negative returns negated value on disliked tone. So the idea here is that your score will go down if you are doing something that they dislike. Would be equal to a negative test value. I'm just curious. Is that how that works? I just don't like how that looks. Math dot. Let's just do one of these guys. Let's start using system. So I don't know if there is a. I think that's fine, but round pow min max log. Yeah, this is just negative test value. Get rid of system. Okay, and if we do this now, this one, run all, boof. Okay. So my scoring delta does that. As for my actual scoring, like what logic is there to test in this? Yeah, calculate score just sums up all the deltas. From a response. Like, my code is not very testable. This is what I'm seeing. I know that much, and that's kind of the challenge I'm having. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to call it here. This is a good place to quit, because the next step here is I'm not writing tests, but rather I need to write some API calls that integrate and like they merge that logic together. And I'll do that on maybe I'll do some of that on the next stream, whenever that is. These streams are going to be sporadic. There's no schedule to it. So let's go to this. Yeah, so this was good. This was a good experiment, all in all. I'm pretty happy with the whole thing. I think what I've learned here is that, like, again, it's writing testable code, right? It's totally doable. And I've gotten way too far down my prototype code to do this. And let me take a step back. This whole thing I'm writing is a prototype. This is going to get thrown away one way or another. I mean, I have to. I have the expectation that I will start throwing this code in the garbage when I'm done. The reason I'm really hammering home on this one specifically is this scoring logic is something that I spent a ton of time on in February, designing and working through it. And it's not overly complicated, but the thought process of all the math and scoring that comes in kind of acts as the foundation to the actual gameplay. Without that, I can't have deals be I can't have a positive or negative feeling about a conversation and then have results from that. And it's a fundamental piece. So I want to make sure I have that testing correctly. And the next thing is this calculate score is kind of my it's essentially this is where I start to change everything into an API. I'm going to start going back into the game and wiring this stuff together. And I'm going to be editing these tests a ton as I go, I'm sure. So that's the next thing. I'm like I said, not sure if I'm going to do that on stream or not. We'll see. It might show up in the devlog. But this has been fun. I like, the reason I like doing the streams, it allows me to walk myself through my code, keeps me in practice. And it just kind of, it makes me think publicly and a little bit of accountability to what's in a live setting. You know what I mean? I don't know. I like doing the live setting thing. And I will do another stream again. This will happen again for sure this month. When, I don't know. But this is kind of the part 2, and I'm going to kind of call this the tests kind of complete. Let's do that now. Scroll this guy down. Let's actually go back here. Boop, there we go. Git add. Git commit m. So let's actually, before I quit here, turn use initialize stats instead of response to. So this is kind of stuff that's done. If I go into this guy, click over here. Yeah, so I refactor this turn. So I've done that. That closes 23. Unable to use error for response type or response tone. What was that? Oh, we're fine. The enums need an error value which can be used when the game logic is not able to calculate which response type they have selected. And I think, have I done that? Let's just double check that one. So let's finish this one. Let's just say this one resolves 23. Let's see here. Git commit. Oh wait. Git stats. Where am I at? Git commit. Let's just say test for scoring passing. Or this closes 23. Let's just do fixes and closes 23. Great. Let's do one more thing here. Let's double check our response type. Error, response tone, none. I don't have an error one in here. So let's add that. Yeah, let's just add these right now, and then we'll add some tests to this. Error and responder preference. Error. Done. So now we're gonna go back into here. This is, I know I'm just adding a quick test, but this is kind of the whole point. If we do this, we're gonna call this new not new behavior script. Create testing C# test script. We're gonna test for enum what? I guess it's just enum error values. I guess realistically what I can do here, let's delete that. We are going to add a whole new thing here. Create a test C# script. We're going to call this, it was called response type tests. Go in here. Here it is. We're going to just do this real easy like, because it is a really simple test that I'm writing here. Would have been nice to actually just start with this one tonight. Response type has error value. I don't like having error values, really. That's kind of the thing, but I wrote that down for a reason, and it's because none sometimes works well enough, but you need to kind of default some stuff. You need to have a certain value in there, like, even though it seems like you don't need it. I want to make sure that it just doesn't get changed. So assert dot is true to var. Let's just keep this going the same way. Expected is equal to true. Var actual is equal to. Yeah, this is just such a waste of. It's such a weird. Like if it's not written correctly, then like, you're not gonna test for that. Like it exists or it doesn't. Error. An error. So I'm actually not gonna write a test for this guy, because if I start using that, and if I start using the error type, I'm just gonna close that one and say it's done. If I use the error type somewhere, for example, so this one, for example, it's not used anywhere. Not used anywhere. 4. Committing my changes from the last time. This is 23. So you can see here, this is my get message here, if you see that. So let's actually undo my change, because I don't need an error type for responder preference. Like, that's the thing. I don't need it. So let's undo that. Let's clean up GitHub. That's how we close. That's how we're going to close out every stream. Is you got to close out fix up GitHub. And okay, so this guy, we are going to get git log. What is this here? Let's just push this code, because I think I'll use GitHub for it. Git push origin. Great. Now when I go to this, I should see in my, I'm going to zoom in on this guy so we can all see it a little bit better. Let's go to commits. Verified commit signature. That's super weird. Interesting, but so if I go to my refactor turn branch, which we've been pushing, committing my changes from last time, we're going to copy this guy, go to the back to the prototype, see the issue for full details, and we're going to close this based on this. This was implemented with that commit, close and comment. Perfect. So now it's referenced. If I go back to the prototype. Oh, it shouldn't have been closed, but I gotta fix that too. There's a bunch of little nuancy things that I gotta deal with here. Let's do a full refresh. This is actually not resolved yet because it's not merged. So this is where my resolved is everything that's in my development branch, and this will be seen as resolved. And then this is the stuff we want to do next. Now we're getting close to the end of what I call playable, and then I can really emphasize the gameplay. So I'm going to try to get this stuff done off stream, and then we can, next time I do a stream, I will do something a little bit more, I guess, less codey and less code centric and more game game centric, because that'd be a lot more fun, I think. That's something and it's also, by fun I mean for me, I want to do that more than this code stuff. Because I just get lost in these details, and this is not giving me the experience, and it's not giving me the value that I want out of learning with this project. It's just code, and coding's fine. Like, I love coding's fun, but it's not making the game any better. It's not getting me any further along with the game development stuff. So yeah, that's where we're gonna call it. We're just gonna do a quick pull request into the development branch, into the develop. Great. And now refactor completed. And this is going to be no reviewers, assign myself, labels, this is fine. Create my pull request. I'm not using pull request the way this is, like, again, one of the things I like to learn is I like to know, may close these issues. Interesting. Wait, what am I doing? I just didn't pay attention to what I was doing. Oh my goodness. I did the whole thing that I didn't want to do, but okay. We're not going to delete that branch, but we are going to do a little bit more. We're going to pay a little bit more attention. Holy crap, I just did a whole bunch of screw ups here, didn't I? So what I just did is, if you can see this, I merged from my development branch into master, and now it's going to try to close it, but it's just saying I can delete this. I don't have to, but I merged the wrong two branches is what I did. So we're going to try this again. Compare. Yeah, let's just merge it all together, hey? Merging the refactor. So that leaves me with an unstable master branch, which, I don't know, it's probably bad. But I don't even have a version of the code out yet, so maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't really matter yet. If we go over to our prototype now, our project, things have moved along. Yeah, link pull request. So yeah, this is how I'm supposed to be using pull requests, right? So, and I am not. So let's just scroll this over here. So this one should be done. This should be done. This also should be done. Like how this is how I'm ending the thing. I'm actually ending with a bit of just closing stuff down. If I go to issues now, these should be a lot shorter, right? What got closed? Let's check what's closed. Yeah, so I got a bunch of stuff closed here. Milestone, we'll label these. We'll assign these. Let's unassign these to me. Did I do it? Good. Issues. We're just gonna clean up my GitLab here. This is a boring ending of the stream. Let me talk through what I'm doing here. So here's what's happened. With everything going on with the pandemic and real life and my day job and working from home and all this stuff, you can go to chat. The challenge I'm having is I step away from the code for like a full week. Like I don't even get to engage with. I'm not engaging with my code because there's just so many distractions and just so much stuff going on. And so when I step away from it, things get stagnant. And so things like my project, this stuff does help me. It gets me back into the groove pretty quickly, but it does require some thinking. And I've been wanting to clean this stuff up and get myself more organized. It's an ever-evolving process. It's the thing that I get distracted by really easily, not having my project organized, which sounds ridiculous, but it is a real issue. But you can see this is what I'm trying to get done here for the playable prototype. And we're getting to a point now where this stuff can get done. I have a sell the pen scenario, apparently. Okay, well, that's fine. Yeah, so this is kind of what I need to do. I need to get this stuff tied up all together, and we'll have a bit of a cleaner look at how this all works together. So when I have a v1.0, I am going to publish the very unplayable, nonsensical crap version to itch.io so people can actually see it and play it, because I want to see it evolve into something a bit different after that. I want to see the next big patch for it should be content. So yeah, I'm kind of talking, I'm rambling at this point. I'm rambling. Okay, I'm going to call it. If you're watching this in the archive, thanks a lot. If you're watching this in the background, I appreciate you hanging out. And that being said, I'll see you again next time. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that kind of jazz. And I'll talk to you the next time I stream. So have yourself a pleasant day and or evening. Take care of yourself.